Welcome to Coffee with Alan. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday morning. I'm drinking out of a Teaching from the Heart mug this morning because it is still Teacher Appreciation Week all week. It's also National Nurses Week all week, and we are celebrating both of those occupations and showing our appreciation and our support for all the nurses and teachers out there. I just got a note here they're having a problem with LinkedIn, so this might not be going out LinkedIn like it's supposed to. Hopefully everybody on Facebook is seeing it okay and on YouTube. And now the LinkedIn is fixed too. So welcome to everybody on LinkedIn. There was a snafu there at the beginning. So thank you all for joining. Again, Teaching from the Heart mug, because we are celebrating teachers this week and we are celebrating nurses this week. Be sure to show your appreciation and support to all the teachers and nurses in your life. You know, I have that new book that went out, just a new short ebook. It's not a book, it's just a short little ebook. Stay safe in our crazy world. Has some important concepts and principles to lay a foundation for staying safe, the mindset you need and the things that you need to be aware of and thinking about to keep yourself safe, and some tips and strategies on how to improve those. And I go even further into it, sharing exercises and things in the online course. So that is out there. I have it all over the place, but you can go to enjoylifesafely.com and see the free ebook and get it there as well. But I've been receiving some feedback for it, which is pretty cool. I mean, I've had some nice feedback. And one individual wrote and said, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but, I like all of your stuff and I will get to it. But I also wanted to let you know that I just completed some Reflex Protect training with my wife and daughter. Really glad that you have the inerts. And what he's talking about are these right here, the training inerts. They don't have the live ingredient in it, and they're made specifically for training. Invaluable resource. If you are going to carry Reflex Protect or a pepper spray or anything to defend yourself, you want to do some practice and training with it. For a chemical agent, whether it's pepper spray or Reflex Protect, as you know, I work with Reflex Protect and prefer this because you can use it indoors without the cross-contamination of pepper spray. Practicing with these, very important. That's why when I conduct training at hospitals for nurses, schools for teachers and staff, other businesses, we have inerts, and that's part of the training. So I want to make sure everybody has sprayed one and is comfortable and understands how to spray it. When I teach smaller groups, security and so forth, we'll do a little bit more. Instead of just making sure they know how to spray it, we'll do some tactical things, spraying and stepping offline and doing stuff like that, just to give them extra training with that. Because the more you train, the better you're going to be in a real situation. That's the bottom line. So if you're going to carry something, practice with it. And I was so glad that this instructor, because he was a martial art instructor, the one who downloaded the free ebook and then wrote me back, took his wife and daughter out to practice with it, because it doesn't do you as much good if you just buy it and think, yeah, I got it, now I'm safe. And it's buried in your backpack or purse or somewhere where it's not easily accessible. And then when you do access it, you're not 100% sure how to operate it because you've never sprayed one before. We got to have some practice. Now, if you have a size that doesn't have an inert, Reflex Protect has just come out with a 0.5 ounce smaller that has a keychain ring on it. It doesn't have an inert available at the moment. We just have the live product. Practice with the live product. And that goes with the different pepper sprays and stuff out there too. You can get inerts for some sizes. Some sizes you're not going to get an inert. If you can't get an inert, you get 2 live ones and you practice with one of your live ones. Now, with that, make sure you're in a safe environment where you're not going to contaminate someone else or something. So you want to do it outdoors, especially if it's pepper spray. You can get away with doing it indoors with Reflex Protect, but you still want to be in a safe place where you're not going to contaminate anything that shouldn't be contaminated. And going outdoors, you don't have to clean up stuff indoors in case you miss your target. I spray in garbage cans inside all the time, but if you miss, you're going to have to be cleaning up stuff. So be in a safe spot, be careful for wind, and you can train with a live product. Just be safe about it. Now, with that, you might get some blowback with something, depending if it's windy out or what you're doing, and accidentally get some. That's not a bad thing. You learn about what it is. I mean, with a lot of law enforcement officers, they have to take a spray with this regardless. Part of their training is to get sprayed with it. And so if you're out training with the real stuff and you get some blowback or something happens and you get it, if it's Reflex Protect, I want you to have some Reflex Remove on you if you can, although this is only sold to institutions. So if you're buying it for personal defense, you're not going to get this. So then what I want you to have is a bunch of water, so you can just flush your eyes with water. Pepper spray, the same thing. You're going to flush your eyes with water. It happens. And it's like I said, it's not a bad thing, because then you learn what the spray does and what it's like. And that could happen in a real situation. You could get something where you're defending yourself and get some, and you're going to want to be familiar with it, and you won't freak out as much as if it was your first time under a real situation. So that's the benefit of being sprayed, and why law enforcement gets sprayed before they carry it on the job. Not saying you have to be sprayed with it, but it's not going to kill you. I mean, it's a non-lethal. I have been out where I remember one time a few years ago, Ben and I were using Reflex Protect and a few other pepper sprays and products, doing some testing and comparisons and so forth. And the wind kicked up when we were spraying one of the pepper spray products, and I caught a face full of it. Ben had to drive me down over to where there was a water supply, and I was hating life for a little bit, washing the eyes out, had, take a while before I could function, where I could then drive home myself, because Ben and I drove separate vehicles where we met. It happens. And so, not a bad thing. The good thing, practice. If there's an Inert available, get 1 or 2 or 3 and practice. If there's not Inert available, you can practice with a live product. You just need to be more careful. Want to say good morning to a few people. Dixon said, check, working fine on Facebook. Great. Thank you, Dixon. Yeah, I had that big notice come up when I was live that LinkedIn was having a problem, but now all of them are working. That one time with Dan Anderson, Facebook didn't work the whole time. And it's just weird sometimes, but we got to deal with technology and roll with the punches. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Vicky. Appreciate you being here. Jay says, just like bear spray in your backpack, but your friend's carrying it into the line of the trail. Yeah, you want to practice with an Inert bear spray as well, and you want to carry it where it's accessible if you need it. It will do you no good if a bear is charging you and you're digging through your backpack looking for where it was, or where it is, where it was supposed to be. You need something accessible at the time you need it. And that's why if you're carrying anything for defense from a person, defense from a bear, you want it easily accessible, and you want to know how to use it. You don't want to be figuring it out under the stress of an actual incident. That's what I wanted to share today. I thought it was cool that I'm getting some replies and some feedback on that new ebook and so forth. I put some time into that ebook and into that course to make it a valuable resource for people to help you stay safe so you can enjoy more of life. And I thought it was cool that the email said he also had his wife and daughter with some Inerts with Reflex Protect, so they could get some training, so they could have a tool to carry as one more layer of their personal defense. Again, a tool is just one piece of the entire puzzle. It's not the be all and end all, but it can be a valuable piece of the puzzle, especially if you're trained on it and you carry it where it's accessible when you need it. Shauna's here. Good morning, Shauna. She says, good morning. I carry bear spray in my car. It's usually in the back of my Tahoe, not very accessible. And are you carrying that for people or bears? If you're carrying it in your Tahoe, and I guess one of the things I like Reflex Protect for is for Uber drivers. You got bear spray and you got an Uber and you just filled the back seat and the front seat and the entire car and you're coughing and gagging and it's going to take forever to clean your car. You had Reflex Protect, you're an Uber driver, you spray the guy in the back seat, he's in a lot of pain, but you're okay up front and less to clean up later. And that's why I like the Reflex Protect for inside, whether it's inside a building, inside a car. Bear spray for an attacker outside of your car, where if you could spray them and drive away, you would be okay. But you are going to have the cross contamination with bear spray because it's going to go everywhere. And so you just need to be careful about that, where you have less contamination with the Reflex Protect. I will say, though, with the Reflex Protect, it comes out in a tight stream, which means you have to have some accuracy, and that's why it's important to do the training so you can make sure you hit what you're aiming for, because you want to hit them in the eyes to incapacitate them. If you spray them all over the chest, it's not going to work. When you have pepper spray or a bear spray going out in that big giant fog, you don't have the accuracy problem, but you have the problem of it getting on you and everything else. For a bear in the woods, you want that giant cloud. You don't want to try to be accurate at a bear charging you. You want the giant cloud to stop them. With a person, I like the accuracy and the minimal cross-contamination of the tight stream, but that's why you need to practice. So there's some pluses and minuses for everybody. Shauna asked, where do you buy it? You can go to reflexprotect.com and buy it right directly offline. It used to be on Amazon. It's not currently on Amazon. It is just available, reflexprotect.com, for people that just want to buy an individual one. Institutions, they call me because I sell in the big giant bulk for, organizations. Thank you, everybody, for joining this morning. I actually am heading down to the Reflex Protect office here in a little bit because I have stacks and stacks and stacks of handouts, because I have a bunch of training coming up in the next couple weeks, both active shooter response, but then the handouts are for the effective communication, dealing with violent people, de-escalation, so forth. And so I had a bunch of printing done by Reflex Protect for me for these upcoming communication classes that I'm doing in conjunction with the active shooter classes. And some of these organizations have already done the Reflex Protect training. And I'm doing Reflex Protect training too. So I got a bunch of training coming up the end of this month, starting next week, all through June. So it's going to be pretty fun because I love to train. I love helping people. So I'm excited about that. Everybody, thank you for joining. This went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to go today, but I appreciate everybody that joins and says hello. Appreciate those that share. Appreciate those that are listening to the podcast. Those numbers keep going up and up. Appreciate all of you. I'm here to help you stay safe, enjoy life, and be exceptional. So go out and make it a tremendous, terrific Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow.